Okay, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Taronga Zoo and welcome to Seal Theatre, proudly supported by Woolworths. How are you all doing this afternoon? Come on guys, a bit more than that. How are you doing? Excellent work. Well, my name's Johnny and I'm going to be talking you through today's 1 o'clock Seal training show. And this show is a bit different from the 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock shows because this is where you guys get the chance to see some of the behind the scenes training that goes on here at Seal Theatre. And you get to see some of the baby steps that we have to take to get the seals and sometimes the trainers ready for the full show. Now we need your support throughout the whole show. Your cheers and your applause go towards reinforcing these animals and letting them know they're doing the right thing. So feel free to let them know when they do something amazing. Now without further ado, we're going to welcome the first of our seals onto the stage. His name is Ronnie and he's coming out with his trainer, Stephen. Now Ronnie is a male New Zealand fur seal. And these animals are called fur seals because they have 2 layers of fur. You can see Stephen actually roughed him up a bit there. It looks a bit shaggy, but this double layer of fur keeps them warmer in slightly colder waters. Now Ronnie came to us a few years ago after being found washed up on a beach just up at the Central Coast after being the victim of a shark attack. But thankfully for us, he was brought back to good health, but because of the nature of his injuries, he was deemed unsuitable for release back into the wild, so he's a great ambassador now here at Taronga Zoo for seals all over the world. Now, I'll let Ronnie say maybe a quick hello, see if he feels up to it. No, maybe not, he's feeling a bit stage struck at the moment. Now, New Zealand fur seals are actually one of 33 types of seal found all over the world, and all seals are collectively known under one name, and that is pinniped. And that's a Latin word that simply means winged foot. You can see where they get that name from. Now, these winged feet or flippers might look a bit awkward for getting around on land, but that's what he's about to show us. Once he's finished swallowing that fish, these seals can actually get around on land very easily, and they're very able climbers, and in the wild they can be found at great heights above sea level. Now also these 2 front flippers are very, very strong and they can support the animal's entire body weight. Excellent work, Ronnie. But it is really in the water where these flippers and these limbs come into their own. And Ronnie's about to show us, thanks Ronnie, Ronnie's about to show us the behaviour known as porpoising or bowing. Now seals can actually reach speeds of up to 30 or 40 kilometers an hour during this behaviour. And this is how they get around in the open ocean at great speeds while still coming up for regular breaths of air. Now this is very handy when it comes time to chasing their prey, something like a shoal of fish, but also when it comes time to escaping from their predators. And Ronnie knows all too much about predators, and some of the predators that he might be looking out for in the wild, things like killer whales, and there's one predator that he's very familiar with. He's going to give us a clue what it is. Shout out when you know what it is, kids. That's right, there are sharks out there. But thankfully for us, that is probably the cutest and fluffiest shark you'll ever want to meet out in the wild. But believe it or not, this is actually a natural behaviour. Give him a round of applause, guys. That is actually a natural behaviour known as sailing. And this is how seals cool down on a hot day, because their fur coats are so good at keeping heat in. It's only their hairless flippers when stuck out into the breeze that let any heat out of their body at all. He's just going for a joyride now. Now Ronnie's going to show us that any one of his 4 flippers let the heat out just as well. Although that's not his best side, so we might flip him back around. Let's see his beautiful face again. Excellent work there from Ronnie. Now we're going to get Ronnie back onto the station for a massive round of applause. And a big wave. And a wave goodbye. Thank you very much to Ronnie and to Stephen. What a great start to the show, guys. Now we're going to take it a little step smaller. In fact, we're going to bring out our youngest and our smallest seal that we have here performing at Seal Theatre. And she is actually a seal that was born here 4.5 years ago as part of our captive breeding program. Now this individual coming out, her name is Nala, and she's coming out with her trainer Danielle. Give them a big round of applause. Now Nala is a 4.5-year-old female Australian sea lion. Australian sea lions are actually the rarest species of sea lion in the world, and if you want to see them in the wild you have to go down to southern and southwestern tips of Australia, and unfortunately there are less than 14,000 of these animals left in the wild. Now Nala is our youngest member here at Seal Theatre. She's practicing a behaviour known as a high bow, where she jumps into the water and touches her nose on that buoy hanging above the pool. Now we're going to see how she goes first time. Excellent work. And the method of training that we use here at Taronga Zoo is based on positive reinforcement. And that simply means we reward the good behaviours or the behaviours we want the seals or the animals to keep in the long run, and we ignore any behaviours we don't want them to keep or to remember in the future. Now you can see that Danielle's got a whistle in her mouth, and this is known as a bridge. Now this simply does exactly what it says. It bridges the gap between the behaviour that the animal is getting a reward for and the reward itself. And you can see the reward today is fish. We're just going to get Nala to try a little bit higher, give her a bit more of a runoff. So if she makes it this time, guys, go crazy for her. Oh, maybe a little golf clap. Now with our animals and using positive reinforcement, it basically means we can't get them to do anything they don't want to do. We can just encourage them and reward them when they reach these certain goals. Now we're going to try it one more time with Nala, see if she can touch the boy from up top. Almost. We're going to bring the boy a little bit lower just to set her up for a successful attempt. Now Australian sea lions, as I mentioned, they are one of the rarest seals in the world, and I said there were less than 14,000 in the wild, and unfortunately that number isn't in any great increase at the moment. They're in fact still in decline. Now this is a beautiful example of a female Australian sea lion, and the females stay in this coloration throughout their lives, but the male Australian sea lions start off life with a beautiful cream-coloured chest and dark-coloured back, but as the males get older, they turn a lovely chocolate brown colour with a lovely white cap on their heads when they're ready to breed. Yeah, there eventually. She knows roughly what she's meant to be doing. They say never work with kids or animals, and we're doing a bit of both here with Nala. I think you'll agree with me, she's the cutest seal that we do have here at Seal Theatre, although mischievous at times. I was going to guide her up the stairs, I think. Excellent work. Now give her a round of applause, guys. She's making Danielle work a bit harder than she might have wanted to on a Sunday. Now we're going to try it one more time, guys. Bring the boy down a bit lower. I'm going to see if she can touch the boy or reach that height. Excellent work there from Nala. And you can see she gets a jackpot of fish. And we like to end all of our sessions on a positive note, so when she reaches that milestone, we give her a jackpot of fish, and that stays a positive memory for next time when she tries it. She'll hopefully reach that point first time around. Now we're going to end it on a positive as well, so we're going to get Nala up onto her station for a big round of applause, and a wave goodbye. Thank you to Nala and to Danielle. Now for one of our smaller seals, we're actually going to move on to a fairly large seal that's going to be coming out next here onto stage. And the next species that's coming out isn't a local species like the first two that we've met. It's actually a species that comes from the northern hemisphere, and in particular from the west coast of the United States. So if we'd like to welcome out Murphy and his trainer Mel, give him a big round of applause. Now Murphy is a Californian sea lion, and he's a male Californian sea lion that weighs in at about 150 kilos. Now we're going to get Murphy to say a very big hello to everyone. You can pick up on that beautiful American accent. Bad jokes all round. Now we saw one or two of the predators that these seals might be facing out there in the wild earlier. Ronnie was showing us a shark. But when seals aren't looking out for their predators, they make very good hunters themselves. And on an average day, Murphy can consume over 7 kilos of fish. Now, even though he has a beautiful set of teeth, you can see he doesn't stop to chew his food. He actually swallows it head first and whole, and this means that no spines or scales get stuck down his throat, and he can fill up really quickly whilst out on the move. Now, even though he does have a beautiful set of teeth, you'd expect him to have a beautiful smile to go with it. What's his smile like, mate? A bit creepy, some might say. And also consuming over 7 kilos of fish every single day. His breath's not too flash either. What's your breath like? What's your breath like? What's your breath like, buddy? There it is. That's what we were looking for, the little tongue poke to let us know that his breath smells like fish. Beautiful. But all jokes aside, guys, seals are very clean animals. And they can actually stay very well groomed using a host of tools that they have on their bodies. And you'll see in a second that Murphy can actually come round his rear flipper and expose 3 claws or nails that he can use to scratch and groom any part of his body. Now his 2 front flippers, they don't have any claws or nails in them, but they are big and they are very, very soft, and they make the perfect face washers. Excellent work there, Murphy. Well, now that Murphy is looking slightly more presentable, Mel's going to get him out onto the station and then actually to the front of the bull so you guys can get a closer look at him, and in particular his head. So ready, front row? Now we're going to need everybody's help in this next part. On the count of 3, I want you all to shout out Whiskers and watch what Murphy does. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful work, Murphy. You saw him displaying those whiskers to you and showing you exactly how much control he has over them. Now these whiskers act almost like an extra set of eyes underwater, because when the water's too dark or murky, they can use these very sensitive whiskers to sense what's going on around them and sense any vibration. And that means they can hunt even in murky or dark water. Now we can't turn out the lights, or there aren't any fish in here for Murphy to show you how this works either. All we can get him to do is actually balance that ball on his nose. And you'll notice that he'll actually balance it all the way out onto the wharf, and he won't be actually holding it up with his whiskers, but he'll be sensing which way the ball is about to fall and adjusting with his flexible neck and spine. Now if he makes it all the way out, guys, I want you guys to go crazy for him, because this can take up to 2 years to learn. Excellent work there from Murphy. Let's see if we can do a bit of catching as well, a bit of showing off. Brilliant work, mate. Excellent work, Murphy. You made that look all too easy, but just to let you know, a few months ago he was just doing that in stages. He's only recently got that whole routine as one fluid movement. Now, even though seals are perfectly designed for finding fish in the water, one of their common problems at the moment is the ever-increasing lack of food out there in our oceans. Now we're going to get Murphy to come up to the pool and see if there are any fish left in the water. We're going to do that again because he took a bit of a shortcut. And this is the behaviour that Murphy's recently been trying to learn. Seals are very clever animals, by the way. They will take shortcuts where they are necessary, where they see them. Excellent work. Now we're going to see if Murphy can have a little look in the water, see if there are any fish in there. No, I don't think there are any fish in there. I think Mitch and the other big boys were in here earlier, and they cleaned up all the available fish. Now we're going to get Murphy back onto the station for a big round of applause and a wave goodbye. Thank you very much to Murphy and to Mel. Now whilst they go off stage, guys, one of the reasons why we get Murphy to look at the ocean is to raise awareness about the ever-increasing lack of fish that Murphy's wild cousins face out in our oceans. Now thankfully there is something you can all do to help, and it is as simple as going onto Facebook, and by clicking Taronga's Facebook page, by clicking like on our Facebook page, you can learn a bit more about sustainable seafood. Now also, next time you're out purchasing seafood, look out for that blue MSC tick you can see on that far side of the pool from me. And where you see products with that blue fish tick on them, that lets you know that product has been independently judged and deemed to come from a sustainable source. Now this does simply mean that it gives us basically a future full of fish for us as consumers, and also for all of our beautiful marine creatures out there in the ocean. And I'll be giving you a quick reminder of that at the end of the show. Now without further ado, guys, we're going to meet our next seal on stage, and here's another Californian sea lion that goes by the name of Pepper. If you'd like to welcome Pepper out with Danielle. Now Pepper is one of our younger Californian sea lions, and he's what we like to call as being in Seal Theatre preschool. So he's still learning the ropes, he's still learning parts of the show, but we'll see how he goes today, guys. Now we're going to get Pepper to say a big hello to everyone. Excellent work there. Now, as you've probably gathered already, we know a lot about the animals that we have here at Seal Theatre, but there's still a lot we don't know about the life out in our oceans. And one of the common myths about these animals is that all they do all day is eat and sleep. Now, there's a big sized crowd today, guys, so I'm going to do a quick survey. Put your hands up if you think that seals are lazy animals. One or two hands going up here and there. Now, as I mentioned, this is a myth or a misconception, because if you're lucky enough to see these animals out in the wild, they're usually maybe on a rocky outcrop or on a beach, having a bit of a lie down. And on a sunny day like today, maybe even a bit of a sunbake. Now you mustn't be fooled, because even a relaxed looking seal is still on high alert, and especially in a crowded seal colony, it pays for a young male like Pepper to watch their back at all times. Now this is because a bigger, louder male can come along and it's easier just to get out of the way instead of confronting them and putting up a bit of a fight. Now even though Pepper's a smaller Californian sea lion, it's not the biggest seal we have here at Seal Theatre, he is still a very strong animal and he likes to show his strength in a very unique way. Excellent work, Pepper. Now Pepper's not quite done with the showing off yet. We saw Nala practicing this next behaviour a bit earlier on. We're going to see how Pepper does with his high bow today. And this is a behaviour that Pepper is still learning, so we are going to need a volunteer from the audience to come down and give us a bit of a hand, but you can't mind getting a little bit wet. This young chap on the corner here, yeah, you look very surprised. Come on up. What's your name? Cameron. Nice to meet you, Cameron. Have you ever trained a seal before? I don't think Pepper's ever been trained by Cameron either. Now Cameron, you are going to stand right here in front of Danielle and that boy you can see hanging above the pool right there. I'm going to take a few steps back. And all I want you to do, Cameron, you're going to be Pepper's cue where to jump out of the water, okay? So I'm going to count to 3. I want you to throw your hands in the air and shout, "Jump, Pepper," as loud as you can. You reckon you can do that? Good man. Okay, we're going to give Pepper a bit of a run-up. He needs a bit more run-up behind him than Nala did. So Cameron, on the count of 3, jump, Pepper, hands in the air. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Now Cameron, that wasn't a bad effort, but Pepper, was that loud enough? Cameron, he said no. Now that was a great effort, mate, but he's only got small ears, so I want arms in the air, shout really loud, and everyone in the audience, feel free to join in as well. On the count of 3, jump, Pepper. 1, 2, 3. Excellent work, Pepper. Thank you, Cameron. If you go and take a seat, thank you very much for your help today, mate. Excellent aerobatics there from Pepper. Now we're going to give Pepper a big round of applause, guys, and a wave goodbye. Excellent work from one of our youngsters, and hopefully in years to come you'll be a mainstay here at Seal Theatre. Now next up, guys, we have a very special treat for you. We're actually going to be bringing one of our largest seals out into the crowd. Now, if you do have any small people with you, please keep a nice tight hold of them. We don't want anyone running up to our seal, because we're going to be walking him down across the front of the stadium and back. And this is all training, just not only for his trainers, but also for him. It's part of his mental and physical enrichment that we give all of our seals. It's very stimulating for him to be out in a large crowd such as yourselves. So if you'd like to welcome out Mitchie and his trainers. Thank you, Mitchie. Now, Mitchie is a male Californian sea lion, just like Pepper, who we saw a few seconds ago. But as you can see, Mitchie is slightly bigger than Pepper. And Mitchie is actually the largest seal we have here at Seal Theatre. And at his maximum weight, he weighs in over 200 kilos. So he's a big boy. I think at the moment he's topping out at about 190 kilos, so he's a pretty big lad. But bearing in mind, males of this species in the wild can actually reach over 350 kilos in weight. So they are very large animals. Now that bark that you heard Mitchie was vocalising on the station over there, along with the manes that the males can develop when they're a bit bigger, is actually where they got the sea lion name from in the first place. Explorers, when they first saw them, literally thought they were lions that lived by the sea. Now you can see Mitchie is making very easy work of walking on this concrete because he's using all 4 of his flippers. Now all the sea lions and fur seals that you've seen today, they're all a great example of what we call eared seals. And that's one section of the seal family. You can tell why they're called eared seals, because they have little ears on the outside of their heads. But eared seals have very large front flippers and rear flippers that they can bend around and pretty much use to walk on all 4s. Now this makes them very able climbers, very fast runners. They can outrun most humans over short distances. And in the wild they can be found at great distances above sea level and inland as well. Now, if any of you have had the chance today to go and see our leopard seal, Casey, down in his exhibit, he is a great example of what we call a true seal. Different side of the seal family, and they're the kind of seals that bounce around on their belly and look a bit awkward on land. Very good word there from Mitchie, makes everything look a bit easy. Now, as I mentioned, this is very stimulating for Mitchie. Very good for him to be out here in front of all these smells, colours, sights and sounds. And he's enjoying this as much as you are as well. Now we're going to give Mitchie a big round of applause. And a bit of showing off. Excellent work. And a big wave goodbye. Why not? Thank you very much to Mitchie and his trainers. And that's his reward for coming out in front of you guys, a nice big mullet. Now guys, today we have taken a very quick peek into the amazing world of some animals that have long inhabited the oceans of our earth, and also some of the training methods that we use here at Taronga Zoo to bring you the seal show. Now we all have a shared responsibility to speak up for these animals and spread the word about sustainable seafood. And remember one last message, and that is that your choices make a positive difference to our marine environment. Thank you very much, Lexi. Now, if you do want to find out a bit more about sustainable seafood, please go to the zoo's website for more information. But if you do want to, if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, come down and have a chat with me after if you have any questions. But thank you all very much for coming down, for listening, and for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day here at Taronga Zoo. Thank you.